Welcome to the Transnet podcast. My name is Zimasa Vabaza. We're live from the SAPEX conference in Cape Town, Century City. And today we're unpacking the aspects of Transnet's supply chain strategy. Now, SAPEX stands for the South African Production and Inventory Control Society. And the broader message for this conference is forward-thinking supply chains. Now, Transnet, being the diamond sponsor at this conference, is looking to simplify processes and increase supply chain stability. Today, I'm joined by the Chief Procurement Officer for Transnet Engineering, Dr. Rebecca Setino. Doc, how are you this morning? It's actually afternoon.
Good afternoon, yes. Good afternoon to you too. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. There's a lot that one has learned from the different conversations that we've been having since Sunday.
Yes.
I arrived on Sunday for some workshops. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Quite insightful what we've learned.
So I just want to jump straight into it. I know that Transnet as a group, but also specifically Transnet Engineering, has been transforming itself, specifically from the procurement, from the perspective of procurement. I want to know, how does this affect TE's functioning within the group, but also how is TE looking to push this new transformation of the procurement strategy?
So quite an exciting time for Transnet and Transnet Engineering in particular. If you look at the group strategy, we are going digitalization, right? We want to minimize human intervention as much as possible, and that speaks to elimination of corruption as well.
Yes.
So yeah, as Transnet Engineering, we are well aligned with the strategy. What we've done is we have aligned the supply chain strategy for Transnet Engineering with the OD's strategy and the operating model to make sure that we deliver a service as a procurement or as a supply chain fraternity. We deliver a service beyond the customer expectation.
Yes.
So if you look at our TE strategy at the moment, the TE supply chain strategy, I would say, at the moment, the game changer is we want to be customer centric.
Yes.
Right? So we wanting to work closely with the customer. The customer, I'm talking about our end users.
Yes.
Because we realize that over the years we've grown apart, and we had a procurement or a supply chain that was working in silo. So now we want to work closer to the customer,
yes.
To understand what the demand is, today, and what the demand will be in the next 5 years, and we even taking it further to like a 10-year window period. That way we're able to develop, the supply development strategies,
build relationships.
Build better relationships with your suppliers, because suppliers want to know what products are you building,
yes.
and how many of those will you be building in the next 5 months. But the 5 months or a year is not enough.
Yes.
As I said. So you want to have a longer window period to the demand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to then touch on Transnet Engineering's contribution to the rail sector, right? In the Southern African context, but also in the continental context. But also Transnet Engineering, the expertise that we have, and the need for people to tap into that expertise, businesses to tap into that expertise. What is the TE's contribution to all of that? How does TE play a role in industrializing the rail sector as a whole?
So look, we are the biggest engineering company in Africa.
Wow.
We're proud of that. We've got capabilities, to manufacture, actually design and manufacture locomotive. We've done the TAL, and we also have partnered with OEMs in the past, to build like the 23E locomotive with Alstom, and also the 44 and 43Ds with the General Electric. So we've got some
massive
good
business.
Yes, internally. So what we've done to contribute to industrialization of sector, we've done a value chain analysis end to end to understand who are the suppliers, the manufacturers locally and abroad, and what sort of capabilities can we build locally. And I know most people are familiar with the localization strategy and the LEAP strategy. So we've developed what we call directed procurement strategy.
Yes.
It's the brainchild of Transnet Engineering, brainchild of our CE, by the way, which we're rolling it out across the organization. So if you ask me what is the directed procurement, it's a strategy that focuses on developing the manufacturing capabilities within the rail sector. And we are doing that to create sustainability in our supply chain. Because if you look for the past 5 years, or not even if you go back as well, there's been a lot of dependency on the OEMs and on imports as well. So we want to reduce that. We want to meaningfully contribute towards the GDP of the country. And the only way to do that is through industrialization. So the directed procurement strategy is new. It's embedded in our supply chain management policy. We've had engagements with the DTIC, with the DPE, different stakeholders, and we've gotten great support in implementing this. So I spoke about the demand earlier, that demand for us as the procurement or supply chain professionals is very important, because we are then able to go out to the market with the confidence, and we also give that confidence to the supplier, because industrialization strategies require massive amount of investment, financial
capex,
investment. Yes, so you should have sufficient demand that justifies that. So we're working hard now with our end users to put together, the demand plan that we're going to take to the market to implement the directed procurement strategy.
Now, I want to look into longer term contracts. You spoke about how you deal with end users, customers, to Transnet Engineering. I want to talk about this change, this shift towards longer term contracts, one, but also is this by design, and what are the expected benefits from this new way of work from a procurement perspective?
Yeah, so from a supply chain perspective, the benefits, one, it's we improve our responsiveness, right? We want to be also an agile,
player in the space.
So it helps us to improve on that, and the speed of the response that you give to the end users and ultimately to your customers as well. And also to be able to build sustainable relationships with your suppliers.
Yes.
And you will hear when you speak to the GCPO what we have introduced, that this supply relationship management as a department.
Yes.
It focuses on building and enhancing the relationships that we have with our strategic suppliers, and also to have a specific focus on supply performance management, which has been a problem over the years. I mean, historically, you know where procurement moved from purchasing to procurement to supply chain.
Supply chain,
That the supply chain or the procurement professional, then their job would end when they place the order. They will walk away, not expediting, not having those engagements to make sure that the supplier delivers. So we are now at that space where we want to hold the supplier accountable, but also we don't see them as a supplier, we see them as a partner.
Yes.
So we've got that
framework,
the framework, the supplier fragmentation strategy that group is working on. Yeah.
So let's look internally. The strategies, the plans, the frameworks, they're all good and all. But what is being done internally from a Transnet Engineering procurement department to transform? What does that look like internally?
Yeah. So internally, for me, transformation speaks to optimization of our processes. I want to talk about transformation from a process point of view,
Yes.
because I think that's where we are behind.
Yes.
You know? There are so many legislative requirements right now that have become a constraint in
Doing business?
in doing business, and also in being efficient.
Yes.
You know, because you've got this, you've got to comply. So we as the SCM professionals now, we are looking at how do you deliver the service, you know, at a high speed, but without compromising on the compliance
And the framework,
aspect.
the legislative framework, yeah.
Yes. So for me, transformation is exactly that in my environment. So we've got what we call the 60 days project at TE. So we took our the high value transactions,
Yeah.
and we have challenged ourselves to have those completed within a 60-day period. You know,
Okay.
so this is a measure
Shift.
timeline, yes, because we used to do it in 128 days. You know, so we've got about 5 of those running at the moment, where we're tracking daily. You know, to meet the 60 days. Long term, it's also long-term contracts, high value as well.
Now, what I appreciate about this is that when you look inside the hood of this amazing vehicle, which is Transnet Engineering, you get to understand that it actually plays a very significant part in the greater business that is Transnet, because some of your biggest customers are actually other divisions within the group. Now, I want to talk about how the shift towards working with more OEMs and that collaboration from a procurement perspective, what that looks like and what advantages it's going to give to TE, but also to the business itself.
Yes, I think the OEM strategy is a way to go,
Yeah.
know, for us, and similarly to our sister OD, TPT, and we are implementing the same model in our space, especially for the machinery that we have across the country or in our operations. So for us, it improves the reliability, right, of the machines. It means, and we also, what we also implementing through the OEM strategies, you want the OEM to keep consignment stock, because you know there's the issue of redundancy and obsolete stock that we
spare parts
and so on. So we're creating that partnership first as a priority to improve the reliability of our machinery. You know?
Yes.
So
less downtime.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to look at how TE, from a procurement perspective, works with SMMEs. Now, when you look at SMMEs and how they can start to work with such a specialized portion of the business, how can SMMEs better work with Transnet Engineering, and what can they do to become better customers, partners to Transnet Engineering, and make your job easier, but also to try to weave through this malaise of, as you said, legislation, processes, etc. How can the relationship better work from a small business perspective?
Yeah. So I think I would encourage SMMs to partner with the bigger suppliers. So if the tier 2, tier 3 suppliers, you know, to gain knowledge and understanding, and to be patient, because the rail industry is quite complicated.
Yes. Capital intensive.
Yes, and we want to empower the SMMEs, but you also don't want to compromise yourself from a quality point of view. So we encourage the partnerships, and also just to have an understanding, you know, of the business and what you're producing, and just adherence to the minimum, you know, business requirements.
That's
the way to do business if you want to grow your organization.
Yeah. I want to touch now on long lead times. One, in terms of transactions. So what is always, I would say, for small and medium-sized and really large businesses looking to do work with Transnet Engineering, specifically having to go through procurement, the long lead times of transactions being open, the demand planning and demand, understanding the demand of these customers. How are you optimizing as a business to get this right, to find that middle ground where you feel like you're doing enough, but also at the same time, the people that you're working with understand this is how long things take inside the business. How are you finding that balance?
Yeah, so we've redesigned our processes because there's no way you want to reduce your timelines by 50% but still do things the same way.
Yes.
So that really required for us to review the
way of work.
The procurement process end to end, and to see where we can reduce the timelines again without compromising ourselves on the compliance aspect. But what we've also done is to create the visibility, throughout that procurement process, which we did not have before. So we're tracking these transactions almost at a daily basis, weekly basis, just to make sure that you don't have certain transactions falling,
short.
Yeah,
falling short.
Yes. So that's what we do. But communication as well. It's what we're working on. Communication to giving the feedback to our end user departments.
Now, I've really appreciated our time together, and I want to lead into how we wrap all of this up and make it easier for people to understand. And in closing, I want to understand from yourself, what does a reinvented Transnet procurement function look like, and how does it assist the business? What does the future look like when we get everything right from Transnet engineering and the procurement function in there? What does the future look like?
So for me, speed is the current currency within the supply chain management space right now. So we want to be responsive. We want to be a supply chain that is agile, that is cost effective, but also a supply chain that is reliable. We just spoke about the timelines now. We want to increase the
predictability,
yes, of our processes. So we want to be able to say with confidence that if this is a transaction to onboard a supplier for X, Y, and Z, and we anticipating to have the transaction concluded by such a date, we want to
stick to that.
To stick to that, and just to deliver, improve on delivering the right product, at the right price. And I spoke about cost effectiveness, which is very important because it also speaks to the middle business in
continentally.
So the prices that we pay also have an impact on the costs of the product that we sell to the market. So that's very important for us.
Doc, I just want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for opening the hood for us and showing how the machine works, what the machine is doing, and how the machine is going to keep running in the future. Thank you for your time, for joining us on the Transnet podcast. That was Dr. Rebecca Sethino, the Chief Procurement Officer for Transnet Engineering, who has just unpacked to us how procurement is now working, looking forward, how procurement is looking to get things right, how procurement fits into the business, and how the future is going to be brighter with a better procurement function, department, in order to enable a better business that can industrialize and help South Africa as well as its clients and customers. Thank you so much, Doctor.